Bad words and taboo terms. This video is about taboo words. In it, I utter taboo words, sometimes highly sensitive taboo words. For why I choose to utter the taboo words discussed, even the highly sensitive words, click the link in the description below.
Hello, I am Randall Eggert, and today we're talking about use versus mention, mention, and mention. We're going to be talking about the use-mention distinction. This is a distinction that gets talked a lot about in linguistics and in the philosophy of language. But of course, the implies that there's only one distinction. But as we're going to see, there's actually more than one type of mention. In fact, there's at least three. And we'll try to elucidate those three now. So we'll start with use. Use is pretty straightforward. You use words, that's it. You just use them. We do it all the time. And to give you an example, this is from that George Carlin routine. So he says at one point, "I just struck that motherfucker away." And in this case, he is using the word motherfucker, right? Now, in other cases, in other places in that same video, he's going to mention that word motherfucker. So we'll start with mention qua quotation, which I think is the easiest one to deal with. This is one that we're all familiar with. We see it in writing all the time. In a novel, let's say, where you have dialogue, you've got those double quotation marks there. Lets you know that, of course, it's quoted. And also in textbooks or articles, we see quotations all the time. And in that Carlin routine, he's talking about this phone call where this guy called him up and told him that motherfucker doesn't belong on his list. And Carlin's reaction was, "I said, 'Where'd you get my number, motherfucker?'" And there, notice that motherfucker is now being quoted, not used. He used it back when he first said it to that guy on the phone call, but in the routine where he's talking about the phone call, he is mentioning motherfucker qua quotation. So another example of mention qua quotation is taken from the life of Brian, where that raggedy man is talking about the conversation he had the night before with his wife, and he says, "That piece of halibut was good enough for Jehovah." Now, when he explains this to the judge, in that case, he's quoting the word Jehovah. The night before, he used it, but in the clip that we saw, he's quoting it. He's mentioning the word qua quotation. Now, another sort of mention is mention qua word. And this is an important one. This is one that we're going to be doing a lot because, of course, this class is about words. We're going to be mentioning words all the time. That's our object of study. So in the Carlin routine, he says at one point, "Motherfucker was gone." He means the word motherfucker. Here are some other examples. These are sort of paraphrases of things that Carlin said. "Tits is cute." Notice that the italics there, that's what tells us that this is mention qua word, that we're not talking about the object tits, we're just saying that the word tits is cute. Or you can find cock in the Bible. The italics tell us the word, not the thing. "I wouldn't mind if I never heard turd again." Again, notice the italics. The last sort of mention that we're going to be talking about is when mention qua meaning. And this, I think, is the most difficult one, but let's do our best. So in this case, again, Carlin is talking about words. He's talking about the word cocksucker, hence the italics. But now he wants to get into the meaning. And here we're going to put single quotes around the meaning. So he says, "How did cocksucker come to mean a bad man? It should be a good woman." So notice that in both of those cases, we've got single quotes around the meaning. And that's how we're going to do it in this class. That's how we're always going to be using single quotes. Don't use single quotes for any other purpose than to indicate that what is enclosed is the meaning of something else. Here are some other examples. This first one is something that I was told by my graduate school advisor, Jerry Sadok. He's an expert on Greenlandic Eskimo, and he once told me, in Greenlandic Eskimo, there is no taboo word that means shit. Another one that you can imagine is asking a friend who's from Uganda, do you know how to say fuck in Swahili? Not the sounds, obviously. What we mean is the meaning, the word that has the equivalent meaning to fuck in Swahili. Or another example, kush, notice the italics. Shut up is a taboo word in Hungarian. So those single quotes again tell us that this is a meaning, this is a definition. That's what kush means. All right, there's a couple other phenomena I want to look at the end here. Mention and tabooness. Taboo words retain their tabooness even when they are mentioned, not used. For example, many newspapers avoid taboo words, even in quotes, which can lead to some creative ways of avoiding them. The following examples were collected on Language Log. So the first one, this is from an AP article. The 24-year-old British actress in town shooting the screen adaptation of Michael Chabon's novel, The Mysteries of Pittsburgh, called the city a name that sounds like Pittsburgh, but contains an expletive. You can use your imagination of what she must have said. From the New York Times, one entry taken from the Harris home was simply called Black. I can't see a, expletive deleted, thing, it said. So what the hell am I going to write about how I can't see anything? So it's that expletive deleted. That indicates that they omitted something from the original quote. Again, you can fill it in yourself because there's only a limited number of taboo words of English that can fit in that slot. Again, from the New York Times, bull, Dean snapped, using a slightly more elongated version of the term. Of course, Dean didn't say bull, he said bullshit. From Observer magazine, someone shouted out of a caravan at me, where are you trying to go, you deuced poltroon? I have changed both adjective and noun to protect my sources. So clearly the person didn't say deuced or poltroon. Another interesting phenomenon is that we have invented a way of mentioning, and that is mentioning qua word, a handful of the most taboo words without having to utter them, the words themselves. So we can mention these words without having to say them. So there we've got the F word, the N word, the C word. That way we don't have to say fuck or nigger or cunt. But of course, they don't get used as substitutions when it's use, not mention. They are only for mention. So think about these following examples that are clearly ungrammatical, and we use asterisks to mark ungrammatical sentences. I think they want to the F word. The N word, please. Oh, she's such a the C word. All right, none of those work. All right, I hope that helps, and we'll be talking again soon.